What's up, everyone, and welcome to the weekly Q&A. For our first question, Ryan Hammond asks what our favorite moments from the new Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer were.
And we're still riding high off of that. We're filming this on May 4th. Happy Star Wars Day, everyone, even though it's Saturday now while you're watching this.
Star Wars week.
I think you know my favorite part of the trailer.
Well, yeah, so the only part that made you clap and point at the screen.
Yeah, I clapped when I saw them, the Purge Troopers.
It was like a I was right clap, though. You were like,
I think I was wrong. I think people kept asking in previous Q&As even if we would see Purge Troopers, and I was like, I don't think so. I feel like they would have shown them in the previous trailer.
It was an I was wrong clap.
It was an I'm so glad I was wrong clap. I was just so excited to see more of that stuff, more video game and comic stuff, that it's like, yeah, if the Inquisitors are going to be here, yeah, we should see Fortress Inquisitorius. And you know what? We should see Purge Troopers, and I'm glad that they're going that route. And I'm glad I was wrong, because I just thought, they're showing stormtroopers following the fifth brother around, so I was like, I guess no Purge Troopers. And I think I said, like, that might have been too much for people, like too much new stuff at one time. But yeah, I'm so psyched that they're in the trailer. So that one little like thing of them walking out with the third sister made me clap and point. And Molly was like, that's what got you hyped?
Yeah. Well, I had just woken up literally from a deep sleep when I was watching this. So I spent the first couple of seconds like trying to adjust my eyes. But I think my favorite part of the trailer is still Owen's line to Obi-Wan about training his like, you mean how you trained his father, meaning Anakin. That's such a gut punch.
That's what most people seem to really love about the trailer. I do too. But it was trending on Twitter. It said it was like all caps, like you trained his father. That was trending today.
Just what a powerful line. So that was one of my favorite parts. And I think the other part, like most people, is just seeing little tidbits of Vader. Mm-hmm. His arms being put on and his voice box.
Yeah, that was great. His voice box. I don't know what that is. Like little power box?
I don't know.
Control box? I'm not sure. I should find out what all those switches do.
Control panel.
Yeah. That's where his roller skates come out.
Yeah.
Oops!
Yeah. And just, seeing Obi-Wan kind of react to the sound of the breathing at the very, very end.
Yeah, I can't decide if that's trailer trickery or not. If he really is like, oh no, Vader's behind me, or if that's just a cool shot that they're...
Even if it is trailer trickery, I don't mind.
Yeah.
I like what they're trying to convey here, and it's very cool.
Did you like this trailer more than the first one?
Yes.
I did too. I don't know, I guess it was the whole Grand Inquisitor thing in the first one where it did feel a little bit like, a little jarring, that looks different. Nothing like that popped out at me this time. Mm-hmm. And I think part of it is because we're used to the Grand Inquisitor. And I think they did that on purpose. They were like, people might like be upset about this, so let's just rip that Band-Aid off and show them. And now we're like, yep, whatever, is what it is. Mm-hmm. That's like the cycle of fandom. I do think it's funny that everyone was reacting, like a lot of people really loved the Owen confrontation, and I do too, but my favorite part was like the little Easter egg lore thing. Like, it's just weird to me that that's what I liked.
Yeah. I don't know, like something about this new trailer made the stakes feel even higher. Like when the third sister says she wants every lowlife and bounty hunter going after Obi-Wan, it's like, oh man, like this is another situation when we saw in Mandalorian when all of those tracker things lit up and everybody was going after Mando. It's kind of a similar situation where she wants everybody going after Obi-Wan to try to find him.
I feel like there's something personal between her and Obi-Wan. Like the way she screams his name, I don't know. I think they knew each other back when they were Jedi. And that there's
I kind of hope so, but I won't be upset if they didn't.
Me neither. But I don't. Just the way that she seems to be treating him, it feels like this is more than just a random Jedi hunt. Mm-hmm. But yeah, good trailer.
In honor of Doctor Strange 2, Brandon Velasquez wants to know if Star Wars will or should ever do a multiverse.
I don't think it will or should.
I don't really either. Like, there's like a little bit of wiggle room for me, you know, when it comes to stuff like Star Wars Visions, that could be considered a multiverse situation, or, you know, Legends could be considered a multiverse thing. So, like, for me, those are kind of like multiverses.
Yes, I agree with that. I think, I don't know what people exactly, what their expectations are when they're talking about multiverses these days. I guess in my mind, Brandon is asking, should they ever, like, collide into each other the way...
No.
Yeah.
That's, like, generally a bad idea, as we're seeing right now in Marvel.
Yeah, but, like, from a story standpoint, like, I don't think... Okay, I'm going to break my own rule just for the sake of it. Like, this is not how the World Between Worlds works. Let's get that out of the way. But I don't think Mara Jade should ever walk out of a World Between Worlds portal being like, how did I get here? Like, no, let's not do that. Marvel's got the multiverse thing going on. And that's also a comic book thing. So I think, I don't know, it makes a little more sense for Marvel, in my opinion. I don't want it to happen with Star Wars because... I mean, I feel like we barely scratched the surface of just what Star Wars can be, especially on screen. Mm-hmm. We've been so fixated on, like, the same 60-year time period for most storytelling, and now the High Republic is breaking out of that. I think we're going to see more and more. So I'd rather just keep expanding just this one timeline before we start doing multiverse stuff.
Yeah. There's, like, one specific scenario that I think would work well in a multiverse situation, and that's if Leia had been trained instead of Luke, kind of how Yoda originally wanted it according to the certain point of view books. That would be a cool story, just to see those roles swapped. But
what if scenarios I'm down for.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, like to bring in an entire multiverse of, you know, millions of different what if scenarios would be a lot for fans to take in. And I don't know that it would work for Star Wars like it's working for Marvel.
Agreed.
Mr. J.D. Rice asks if we'll ever have to split the complete canon timeline into multiple parts.
I don't really think so. I wanted to bring that up just because we were talking about the trailer and how we both woke up to a trailer drop. And I don't know why I wasn't expecting it. I think just to keep my expectations down so I wouldn't be disappointed if nothing happened on May 4th. But I was like waking up as if, you know, today's going to be easy and great and there's no work to be done. Like, the canon timeline is finished. And then I looked at my phone and I was like, oh man, like, wake up, Molly. We got to go.
It's go time.
But yeah, thank you for watching the canon timeline. If you haven't seen it yet, I work really hard on it every year. It's over an hour long, and yeah, it's only going to get longer. So will I ever split it up? I don't think so. I kind of like the idea that it just keeps getting really, really long.
Yeah, the only scenario that I see him having to split it up is if our computer just can't handle processing how long it could potentially get, because your computer did have a tough time with this one.
It did. I think we're a ways off from that. I think, you know, an upgrade for the computer would solve that problem, I hope. But I think we're a ways off from ever having to split it into 2 mega parts.
Yeah. No, I don't think splitting it up would benefit it really at all, because, you know, someone could start it from a different point and not realize that there was a first part. You know, there's always the potential for that. But I don't know, we have some ideas for next year's. I have specifically some ideas.
I have a couple ideas as well. I think that, and they're like along the different lines. I don't want to get it, like, mine is more how to make the images more exciting, and you have, I don't even want to talk about yours because I like it so much.
I have ways of getting more people involved. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I think that's fun. I think I'll probably wind up doing timelines of different eras, like when the High Republic finishes up, at least the 3 phases. that'll probably be a timeline video where I can really focus on those characters. Because, like, I was struggling to include all of the main characters in this video instead of just kind of talk about it on a larger level. I was like, I realized, I haven't mentioned Keeve Trennis, who is the star of the High Republic comics, and I barely mentioned Reath Silas, who I really like. I don't think I mentioned Geode once, which is a crime, and I'm just now realizing it. In the arms of the angel. Ooh. Take it down. I gotta take it down and start over.
That's a big miss.
Oh no.
It's a no for me. Alex Ward wants to know if we'll get any announcements at Celebration, or will it all be covering stuff that's already been revealed?
Kinda like I said about not expecting anything for May 4th. That's how I'm going into Celebration, trying not to expect a whole lot of new stuff, but I still feel myself fighting that, like, I think they're gonna say something. I think we're gonna get some new announcement. Yeah. Not a ton, but something.
I feel pretty much the same way. I didn't get my hopes up for today, and I was pleasantly surprised with the Obi-Wan trailer, and I'm not getting my hopes up for Celebration. I'm just gonna assume we're getting, updates on stuff that we already know. But, like, if there's a time and place to make a big announcement, a big surprise announcement, it's at Celebration. They haven't really given us a whole lot about, the other live action shows that are in the works, or the films for that matter. So I think Celebration is a good place to do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's the perfect place for it. So there's so much that they're covering already that I'm like, I'm already excited about that, to learn more about Kenobi, even though that next night we're going to see the first 2 episodes and learn about Andor, and hopefully some of the other stuff we know is in the works, like Lando or the Acolyte or Ahsoka. But yeah, I do kind of hope that they make some announcement probably on that Thursday panel. That's the only panel I'm expecting announcements on. Tales of the Jedi is kind of an announcement, but they pre-announced it.
Yeah.
Like, we know that's coming. I think there's a Visions panel. Wouldn't be surprised if they say, like, hey, season 2 is coming. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that.
Eli is Do or Do Not 7 asks if we'll see the Indiana Jones 5 trailer at the Lucasfilm Studios Showcase panel.
That's interesting.
Hold on. That's
I hadn't thought about the fact that it is called the Lucasfilm Studio panel. Like, it's a showcase. It doesn't say Star Wars. I still don't think we will, because this is Star Wars Celebration, and it's like, yeah, Indiana Jones is, I almost consider it Star Wars adjacent with Lucasfilm. They might even throw in a little bit about the Willow series. Like, we don't have a release date for that other than it says 2022 on Disney Plus. So I do think there's room for them to tack on some of that stuff and be like, hey, by the way, Willow's going to drop here, and who wants to see an Indiana Jones 5 teaser? Like, yeah, I'd lose my mind. I don't know if everyone else at Star Wars Celebration would, but if we had a little mini indie celebration, I'd be down.
I wouldn't be surprised if whatever day that panel is on, that trailer just drops for the internet, and then they play it at the panel, like on the big screen for everybody. So it would have already been out. Like, the big reveal maybe wouldn't have been at Celebration. That's one scenario, and then the other would be, it would be like a surprise. Only the people at the panel would have seen it.
Yeah.
But it probably still would come out for the public soon after that, because people are going to record stuff from their phones and release it.
So I can't decide if that would be a good idea or not, because, it's Star Wars Celebration, and I do feel like there would be some people that would be like, what are we doing talking about Indiana Jones right now? This is Star Wars Celebration. It's not what I came for, but they have lumped Indiana Jones news into, like, the Star Wars show before. And I am curious about the Willow series, because Lucasfilm has that and Andor and The Mandalorian coming out this year still, and The Bad Batch Season 2. So, like, how is this all going to fit in 6 months? Where's it all going to go?
In our brains.
In my eyes.
On to YouTube questions. Son of Kratos asks if Luke and Leia will ever meet their relatives on Padme's side of the family.
I think they will. I also kind of think they have. They did in Legends. I will throw that out there. The fact that Leia in the Poe Dameron comics has some of Padme's wardrobe makes me think that she knows where she came from. Well, she definitely knows who her mother was, obviously. So I think they probably would have reached out to other family members.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I feel like Leia, more so than Luke, would, if it were going to be one or the other, I think Leia would have been the one to have met them. Just because Luke was on Tatooine for a while and then he was off being a Jedi. So.
Yeah, it does seem like he's just kind of going off doing his own thing. As of the Mandalorian. So yeah, Leia seems like the type to be like, oh, my mom was a politician? Like, I want to go meet her family, my family, and learn more about her.
Yeah, I think that would be an interesting story to tell somewhere down the line, especially, after reading all the Queen's books from E.K. Johnston. That feels like, to me, a story that they could give her to tell.
Yeah, like Queen's Legacy or something like that.
Agent W wants to know if Rey ever had a rank in the Resistance military.
Yeah, so...
Like the ones they were given out all willy-nilly in the original trilogy.
Right. Well, I mean, Luke was a commander. Anakin was a general. So did Rey ever hold a rank? As far as I know, she did not. I think she was probably just... Her rank was Jedi, I guess. Jedi in training.
Yeah. She was a Jedi, and she was training under Leia's tutelage. But we got two generals with Finn and Poe, so she was probably like, I'll let those two bozos handle that stuff with their fancy titles. I can use the Force.
I don't recall ever seeing her, commanding forces. She's always working with Poe and Finn and Rose, some mixture of that
Rose,
crew.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't really think we've ever seen her having to give commands to forces. I think she was probably a lot like Darth Vader in the Imperial military. Like, he has our respect, she has our respect, and even though he's not part of the Imperial military, she's not maybe officially part of the Resistance rank and file, we're still going to listen to her. I mean, Poe called her the greatest fighter that they had. She's,
whatever the good guy version of Lord, I guess, because they called Vader Lord Vader.
I was like, the singer?
No. But the Empire called Vader Lord Vader. That was kind of his title. They didn't call him Darth Vader or Darth. So whatever the good guy version of that is.
Lady or Jedi? I don't know.
Lady Skywalker would be a cool way of putting it, yeah.
So, yeah. I don't think she had an official rank. But also the Resistance, while she was part of it, was not huge. So who knows what their structure was like. I mean, yeah, Poe just threw the title general to Finn because he wanted to. It's not...
Co-generals.
Yeah.
They're co-generals. Ivan DeGrease asks which of the Jedi Masters we think voted not to kick Ahsoka out of the Order.
I kind of think the only one to vote against it, I hope he did, was Obi-Wan.
Not Plo Koon.
Plo Koon I can see, but even he... I kind of chose this question because we just recently watched this
Do we know what the vote was?
No.
Okay.
We just know the result. So we just watched this arc, and at the end, when all of the Jedi are being really, condescending and trying to paint everything that happened as something good, like Mace Windu being like, oh, well, the Force works in mysterious ways, and this was your great trial, and no apology or anything. Plo Koon was kind of in on that, and was even chiming in along those lines, and I was like, man, I would hope that Obi-Wan and Plo Koon would be the two that didn't vote against her.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't have complete faith that he didn't.
I think Obi-Wan is a good choice for that because, we see how Anakin reacts to everything and how he's, pretty vigilant about trying to prove everybody wrong about Ahsoka and, trying to fix things. Obi-Wan wants to do all those same things, but he's kind of forcing himself to hold back.
Mm-hmm.
And, the one thing that he can do as part of the Jedi Council at this point is to offer up his vote.
And he's the only one when Tarkin is like, we need you to kick her out of the Order so that she can have an actual Republic trial. And Obi-Wan's like, surely we're not going to do that. And everyone else is like, no, we're going to do that. And so that's the one Jedi Master on the Council that I'm like, Obi-Wan did what was right, did what he could for the most part.
Did what he could, probably didn't do enough. I mean, none of them really did enough.
Yeah. And I think Yoda voted against her because we haven't gotten back to these episodes, but I remember in season 6, he has a moment, like a vision with Ahsoka, and I'm like, that dude feels guilty.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think he'd feel guilty regardless, but I guess I'm bestowing extra guilt on him because I think he probably voted against her.
Yeah. When you're alive for that long, you probably learn different ways of dealing with guilt. So I'm sure he had guilt about it, but got really good at not showing it after a while.
I mean, his arc in season 6 is kind of about his transition from who he was in the Clone Wars to who he is in the original trilogy.
Carmen wants to know what we think about some fans' concerns that Obi-Wan Kenobi is currently rated at a 9+ age rating, which is the lowest of any Disney Plus show so far.
Yeah, I think we're a little out of date on this. We haven't quite caught up with the times, but I think about a week ago, the rating for Obi-Wan Kenobi came out on Disney Plus, and it was like ages 9 and up. And some people were not happy about that. I super don't think it matters at all. Star Wars up until Revenge of the Sith was PG. So like, are those movies just not as good because they're PG and not PG-13? No, like, it doesn't matter.
I mean, Lucasfilm doesn't choose the age rating on these things. That's kind of more of a Disney side.
I don't even know if it's a Disney. I don't know how TV ratings work, but I think that's a good point.
Well, it would have to be Disney because the only place it's airing is Disney Plus.
Ah, okay. So see, I don't know if like the MPAA comes in and reviews.
I think Disney probably has their own
a film or whatever
version of that. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a good point. Is that Lucasfilm didn't come in going like, okay, we're gonna make a 9+ aged series about Obi-Wan. I think they made the series, and then Disney or whoever looked at it and they were like, ages 9 and up. Certainly, if they're making The Bad Batch or Tales of the Jedi as animated, something like that, I'm sure they're going into it with like okay, here's our age range we have to keep in mind. But I think for Obi-Wan Kenobi, they're probably making just another Star Wars film or story, live action, just the way they have since 2015.
Yeah. Now, I do think that this probably means we aren't going to get too many very violent scenes, which if you're expecting that, you're looking up the wrong tree, I think, for really violent scenes. But, stuff like this, the Obi-Wan show is like the closest thing to a big, everybody knows these characters, almost a theatrically released film thing in a while for Star Wars. So, of course, they want to make it, as all ages as they possibly can.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to watch this and feel the age rating. Like, I couldn't have told you what The Mandalorian or the Book of Boba Fett, what they were rated at. I didn't know that the Book of Boba Fett had a lighter rating than The Mandalorian. And still, we saw someone get cut in half with the Darksaber in that. So,
Yeah.
I don't think this matters at all. And people who are concerned about it, it's like, just wait and watch the thing. It doesn't, I don't know. That just reeks to me of something that someone is like looking for a reason to be upset.
Yeah, I mean, if it's violence that you want, like I said, I don't think you're going to get it in any of these Star Wars shows, and like come out of something like this and be like, oh well, it just wasn't violent enough.
Right.
Like I haven't heard that from anybody.
I don't think I've ever heard someone come out of a Star Wars film like, oh, it wasn't gory enough or whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure like it's gonna have some intense moments, and you know, we already know that somebody gets hanged. It probably happens off screen, but still, it's there. So I'm sure we'll see plenty of juicy action stuff. But
yeah, I mean, like Owen and Beru, I saw Owen and Beru as charred corpses way too young, frankly. But that was in a PG film. To be fair, PG-13 didn't exist yet, but still, like, I don't know. Ratings have always been such a mess, and they don't matter. That's all the time for questions we have today. If you want to leave a question for next week's video, just put it in the comments below, or sign up for Patreon to join our weekly Q&A discussion. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
And as always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.